So it's the GA Social on BBC Sounds, and we have a lovely man with us here today, which is a very peculiar way. Yeah, you are one as well, Ashley.
No, I was thinking more. He wasn't always lovely.
Ah, you would have come up against this boy then.
I would have. I've steered plenty clear. I mean, I always made sure there was at least 25 yards between me and him.
Cross or Derry? Would have been Cross.
Cross, yeah.
Yeah, all cross.
All cross.
Never played against him in Armagh. No.
Yeah.
That's too old.
And that tone, if you come from a particular part of the world, i.e. Bellaghy, you'll recognise it straight away. So because we've listeners scattered all over the globe, they mightn't necessarily. We have Danny Quinn in front of us, All-Ireland winner with Derry in 1993, from Bellaghy, staunchly so. And we are in his beautiful primary school, not yours that you've been here. You didn't go here, did you?
No.
We're in Anahorish, where a certain poet who was decent with the old English language was here.
Mr. Seamus
Mr. Seamus
attended, yeah.
His whole primary school. You're the principal here, and it's in Newbridge, which is only 3 miles away, but them 3 miles can make a lot of difference in people's identity.
They definitely are at the minute. Newbridge is very much to the fore in Derry football at the minute. Won the last 2 championships. And
Are those gritted teeth, or what way are they?
we have to sort of smile and accept it at the minute, because they're the team that's on top, and they're putting a lot of work in, and they're getting their rewards for it.
They are. We're going to talk all things football. We're going to talk that lovely Bellaghy Crossmaglen war that you guys had going on, it seemed, for the best part of a decade. But I suppose the big thing that's probably going to come out here is you were married to Catherine.
Yep.
And you lost Catherine at a very young age.
Yep.
You had 3 kids, and I would know all 3 of them to an extent. And you're raising 3 weans, as you always say all the time. Not by yourself, because you have a brilliant community support, but at times by yourself. So we're going to touch upon that, Danny, and it's a bit of an unusual one. It's living life without the one that you love, and life just not meant to be that way. And you're now, what age?
I'm 59.
And Catherine died?
Which was 42.
And
14 years ago.
We're approaching the 15th anniversary in May.
Yep.
So it's a long time without her.
It is.
So I suppose the obvious question here is, why did you agree to do this podcast? And just be honest with me here.
Somebody rings you at 6 o'clock in the evening, and they're sort of, I thought, this man's definitely stuck. So I thought,
oh, no.
Thomas is not a bad fella. I know there's plenty of ways I could ring, but I suppose I spoke to the children first, as I told you I would do, and I asked them, were they happy enough with me doing it? And they said, oh, definitely, yeah, go ahead. They would be following the 2 ends all the time and listening to all the podcasts. So I'm here, I'm sitting here, and I'll do the best I can.
How do you feel before we talk around that subject, Danny? Just how are you feeling right now? It's a bit weird.
It's funny. You could get emotional very quick. I've done it before with talking about. I've done a few talks with, obviously, about organ donation and how important that is, because of, obviously, Catherine received organs from another person. So there's that whole element to it that's very, very important, and you have to, sometimes you just have to grit the teeth and say, look, that's more important than how you feel yourself.
Yeah.
So I've done that wee bit with it, and actually enjoyed doing it, and it didn't do any harm. It's sort of what it was all about.
Yeah.
It makes you feel that it was important to do all those things. And obviously, the whole transplant situation has improved a lot since then. The whole organ donation thing has improved a lot since then, with, I suppose, Daithí's law coming in now, and you have to opt out now, rather than they're assuming that their organs are available. So that helps the whole thing as well.
Is there a little bit, with those changes in legislation and probably even awareness, is there a little bit inside you, Danny, that's just nearly annoyed that wasn't done earlier?
No, not really, Thomas. I think Catherine was, I suppose, sick for nearly 7 or 8 years before she got a transplant. So we're very lucky that the doctors that were involved with her in both the Royal in Belfast and over in Papworth were able to keep her going until a transplant became available. They were able to give her a quality of life that she got used to experience to try and get to transplant. And then obviously transplant went very well. After an initial 16 hours it was on transplant, getting it sorted. Catherine got a set of lungs over in Papworth, and
So this is a double lung.
double lung transplant, yeah. And everything went well after it. She was back up, she was walking again, she was back out, walking around the football pitch in Bellaghy and doing all those sort of things. And then a wee cough started. We obviously had read everything and been told everything. Transplant team in Papworth were superb. They tell you what to watch for. So we got home, this wee cough had started, got in touch with them again. You're over, biopsies done. Biopsies showed that the immune system then was being attacked by the lungs, and everything was starting to fall apart a wee bit. So it was a tough old situation.
Yeah. So bring me right back. You meet this girl from Ballinascreen. She's very much Ballinascreen. Comes from the Murray family.
One caller, here, you get into big trouble if you said anything else other than Ballinascreen.
Okay, I thought you were going to give out to me there. I picked this up wrong. So she's from a very well-known Ballinascreen family, which is a big club, big GA presence in County Derry, obviously. Yeah. And you meet her, and things presumably go well if you get married.
Yep.
Fair to say.
93 when we won the All-Ireland. Yep.
So you just got married in 93?
We got married between the Ulster final and the All-Ireland semi-final.
Right.
We got a week's honeymoon because we couldn't go any longer than that because of the football. And
you wouldn't get a week now, Danny?
You wouldn't get a week now. No. Boys like Oisin wouldn't give you a week now. Yeah. They were saying, you have to stay at home. You have to organise your wedding for some other time. Eamon was a wee bit more understanding, but I trained every day I was away on honeymoon too as well.
Because you got a tap on the shoulder that you were going to be playing against Dublin.
Yep, I did. After the Ulster final, I spoke to him, and he come to me at training and he says, look, you've played against Vinnie Murphy before, you're going to be playing against him in the All-Ireland semi-final. The last league match that year was against Dublin in Dublin, and I had a right decent old game on him for a change, and everything went well, and so he was going back to that, and that was how I got picked.
And then Derry won the All-Ireland.
Brilliant.
Life is good. You're married, and kids then start coming along a little while after that. You have three.
I was very lucky too as well. Catherine was very much into football, so I was playing with Bellaghy. I was involved with Derry up to 95, and then after Derry, then I was involved with Derry under 21s coaching. So I was involved with the coaching with Derry, and Catherine was delighted. I think she enjoyed me getting out of the house to get a bit of peace, but everything was going great. And I say, for Amy came along in 99, and then Connor came 96, sorry. So we had Amy, and then Connor came along in 99, his birthday today, and then
Connor's birthday's
Dara,
today.
Yeah, and then after Dara was born, that's when all the whole problems all started. Catherine had a reaction after he was born, and that sort of showed this pulmonary hypertension was there.
Okay. And that's when life goes down a different path. So
different pathway in lots of ways, because Dara was born healthy, great. Catherine was super after it, but 2 or 3 weeks after the Dara got home, both of them got home from hospital. Catherine had a bit of fluid retention. Went to see Ben Clancy, was our football doctor with Derry, and he was our doctor at home as well. Brilliant. Went to see him. He was keeping a wee eye on him. Went into hospital for 3 or 4 days, out again. And then my brother John was getting married. We were down at the wedding, and Catherine was in severe bother at the wedding. She had retention in her hands, her feet. There was a lot of fluid gathering. We came home from the wedding on the Saturday evening. Sunday morning, her face was swole, everything was swole. Rang Dr. Ben up to the house, and he told her immediately to go to Antrim Hospital. Dr. Troughton met us in Antrim Hospital, and within 3 or 4 days she was away she had to go up to the Royal. So we were 2.5 months in the hospital at that time with a child that was only 2.5 weeks old. So you can imagine the amount of support that was required,
Yeah.
Coming from Catherine's family, and they were brilliant,
So life moves on quickly. You're trying to get it on top of this, and Catherine at that age is what, Danny?
Catherine was 34, 35, yep.
Yeah, like so hugely young.
Yep.
And 3 young kids.
Yep.
On the go, which are fairly demanding.
Yep, definitely.
and a footballing connected husband who's into everything, coaching.
Yes, couldn't say no to anybody at
Yeah.
that time.
Can
You know,
imagine.
you think you can do everything, and
Yeah.
and everybody does, and you're.
So when did it get from that point to, right, this is, a transplant is required?
Here, 4 days. Here, this was the big thing
Really?
about it. Went into hospital, and they thought initially it was clots in the lung, which is treatable and could be sorted. And then they done lots of tests, and we were in Antrim Area Hospital when one of the consultants came in, and he just come over and says, "Look, I'm sorry to tell you, but you've got we have discovered you have a condition called primary pulmonary hypertension." And he says, "I'm sorry to tell you that there is no cure for it other than transplant. What we will be doing is we'll be trying to medicate you to give you as long as you can with your family." And that was some kick in the teeth.
That's your ultimate nightmare. Do you still remember all around that, Danny, just that conversation? Because it's just a sentence that came out of your mouth. But I would imagine that's always just, it's such a triggering thing, even for me to hear sitting opposite you.
It was very tough.
Can you find hope in that place? You're a footballer. You come from good stock. And in a sense, right, well, what do we have to do here? How do we?
Yeah, that was very simple. Catherine was very thick. Oh my God! Anybody, Balance Green's like there.
I'm not I'm not commenting on that. I don't mind.
You're not falling into that one.
I'm absolutely not going there. But, so when you say thick,
so her attitude to it was obviously it was
stubborn.
tears and crying and all that sort of crack that happens. Obviously, it was going to happen. And then there was, it's not going to beat me. If there's an option available for this, we'll follow that option and we'll see what happens from there. So, no, it is thick. You have to be.
And there's a level of living with the condition, hoping for the ultimate goal, which is a set of lungs become available.
Yeah, we were very lucky in that we had that 7 years. That was very good.
Yeah.
With good medication, with well looked after by the doctors up in the Royal and in Popworth, and them all working together to treat her situation. That gave us that wee bit of time together, which was great.
Yeah.
And then obviously transplant went over to Popworth, and they finally sort of said, you have a wee window of opportunity to get your transplant. So that was what we had to make sure that she got the transplant when she wasn't too ill to get it. That you could recover from it and get on with it again. And that was the important thing to get through.
Yeah. Do you still remember the phone call to get the transplant? I had an uncle who had a kidney transplant, so I know that it's very much a race against time when it becomes available.
Oh, it was absolutely crazy. We had bags packed for years, and then you had to keep changing the bags because you had to change them with the weather. In the time of the year, so the bags were sitting packed all the time, ready to go.
And where did the bags sit?
Oh, they sat upstairs in our bedroom. They sat in the bedroom. 2 suitcases were sitting packed for nearly 2 years, 2.5 years.
And did they sit in the bedroom? Were they locked away somewhere in a different room, or?
No, just they sat there, and nobody ever asked any questions. The Waynes knew they were there for if this phone call comes. They knew that there was a phone call to come at some stage.
It might sound like me picking up on something that's really weird, but I just think you're going to bed every night, and you're probably seeing the suitcases if they're sitting in the room.
Yeah,
they're there for a very particular reason. It's just a constant temptation and a hope and a desire that when will this call ever come?
And that's what you're waiting on. That is your hope. You know what I mean? That was, I never forget the call. I was out at training with our Connors team. I took them the whole way through. And then the phone call came. I came in from training absolutely soaking because I was an idiot playing along with them, and all that sort of crack and bit of crack. And come in and when I pulled into the yard, Catherine was at the back window and she shouts, "Look, they've rung." So we got ready to go. And that was our first. Plenty of people have 2 or 3, maybe 4 runs at it before they actually going across and get the transplant, whether it was to Popworth or to Freeman's in Newcastle or any of those places. Sometimes you get 2 or 3 dry runs before it actually happens.
Yeah.
But we get first go, and it was totally mad. Car come to the house, lifted us up to the international airport into only a wee 4-seater plane, just the two pilots and me and Catherine sitting in the back. Just and back over to we flew into Stansted, and we were met at Stansted with a taxi from the airport or from the hospital that took us straight to the hospital, and then they did all their examinations and all to make sure that she was, infection free and all that sort of crack to be able to get the transplant. And then they said that she wasn't the way she went for the transplant.
Yeah. And you've already touched at the very beginning about the fact that it obviously didn't work. Can you bring you to that point when the realization set in that the hope is going and then the hope is gone? Mm-hmm. And only what you can talk about, Danny, and I appreciate this is hugely sensitive area.
It's hard to explain it. I think the easiest way to explain it is how the team in Papworth were.
As in how good they were?
Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Even coming to tell you, coming to tell you that this hasn't worked, The biopsy, went for the biopsy. Even at this stage, Catherine wasn't too bad. She was walking. She was up, getting about a wee bit. And then after the biopsy, we knew that was, this wasn't a great result. And then to go home and tell everybody.
And is that the hardest bit?
Oh, no doubt about it.
Telling the kids?
Yep.
I'm not going to ask you because it just feels that I'm being rude by asking how that conversation goes. I think anybody with a brain can probably imagine how that went. And then the realisation, I suppose, Danny, how did you deal with the end? And I want to bring that right round. How are you dealing with the end when it happened nearly 15 years ago?
That's a hard one to answer. I'll go back again to transplant. The transplant team come to us and told us everything. There was a fella from Clare, County Clare, who was working over there, gentleman, and I knew things was wrong because he was avoiding us. He was on every day, full of crack, full of banter about football, about everything. Kept him going about hurling and all that sort of crack.
Yeah.
And the couple of days, he wasn't there, wasn't about. And then the doctor, the consultant, and the transplant team come in together to tell you how the biopsy had went. And he couldn't look at us.
Yeah. And that's where the emotion comes in, and the relationship comes in, where it's not a job, it's not somebody giving a clinical diagnosis, it's life. I just conscious I picked up on a couple of things when you've been talking there, which is fairly understandable, so I make no judgment on it. But whenever you were talking about Catherine and those two big moments where it's not going to work, and when you're facing the inevitable end, you redirected towards the transplant team. So when you're getting it tight, rather than you showing a bit of emotion, you start to deflect onto another area.
They were absolutely brilliant. They come and told it. They said that the biopsy had been poor. They would check again. They did another biopsy, come back with the same results. We had to worry about getting home for Christmas. That was some crack, Catherine at this stage was, they had then sort of, you had to be safe with her. She was on oxygen. You had to make sure that she was all right. When we got to the airport, she was into a wheelchair, so she'd get onto the plane and all that sort of crack. But we got home from Papworth on the 22nd of December. Yeah, some crack.
Wow. But the reason I asked you about the transplant team, we all know from what you're saying how amazing they are. And there's a litany of examples of that.
Yeah. And they're everywhere. There's lots of transplant teams everywhere doing it with kidneys, with livers, with different parts of the body all the time.
What I'm saying is, when you're getting it tight, chatting to us here, your fallback is mentioning the transplant team.
Yeah.
and that's okay. That's okay. I'm just curious. Like when Catherine died, when did you go back to work?
A fortnight.
Fortnight.
Yeah. Because I wanted stability and I wanted routine for the children and for myself. Probably more for myself.
Yeah.
And coming back to work was great. Coming to school and everybody was great in school. We had. I always tell the story when somebody does ask me about it, about the coming back to school. I went around all the classes because I'd been off for the transplant. Then I got back to school for a week or two. In a week's, Catherine's mummy and daddy came down when she had got home from Papworth, and they sort of looked after her at home in our house.
Yeah.
And then I went on to school. So I waited till they come in the morning, then I went on to school. I come home brave and sharp, didn't do much direct at time for a day or two, let's put it like that, and come home school sharp in the evenings. But when I came back to school, the first day back at school, I went into P2, and this was after Catherine died. The wee boy in P2, he says to me, he says, Master Quinn, is your wife away to heaven? He says, my dad says your wife's away to heaven. I says, aye, you're 100% right, Colin, you're 100% right. He says, she's away to heaven, surely. He says, sat there looking at me, he says, how did you get there? And I says, God's got a magic ladder for getting people up there. He was able to get her up, and that's where she's at now. He says, that's what my dad said. He says, but she's not coming back. No. He says, no, when they go to heaven, you have to stay up there and look after everybody. And what do you call it? He says, that's what my dad said as well. That was it. That was his take on it. And I thought to myself, isn't it great that it's simplified like that? Isn't it great that it's nice and easy? And that made it a lot easier coming back to school.
And the fact that somebody else has gone through it, which we all know, but when you hear it explained by the innocence of a P2.
That's absolutely class. Coming from a child, it's absolutely class,
Did you feel, did you get a chance to grieve around that time, Danny, or because the kids were around and you have to show strength for the kids, did you feel as if that wasn't a possibility at that time?
I think you have to grieve. You do it your own way. Everybody does it their own way. Yeah. Some people need lots of people to support them and be with them. I do like to do myself.
What does that mean?
Just leave me alone, let me get on with it. Plain and simple. I know what I'm dealing with, so we had talked about it all. Thomas, there's one thing that was we had talked about everything,
You and Catherine?
Yeah. What could happen and all that sort of crack.
And those conversations obviously are centred around the children.
Oh, of course.
And them growing up and those big experiences which are annually.
Massive. Here, coming home to tell the children, it wasn't, me and her had done our crying and done all that sort of stuff, so we were able to sit and talk to each other, easy, talking to each other about it and what way things were and this is the way it was going to be, and look, you make sure of this and you make sure of that. I get me... for 7 or 8 years, I had to learn how to do things. I never put on a washing machine. I had to learn how to put on a washing machine. I had to learn how to do groceries. I had to do all them things. So you pick those all up and you learn from it. We laughed about it, Somebody who's like yourself and all about running to football all the time and suddenly you become domesticated.
Yeah.
That's some change, I could cook a wee bit anyway before all this, but I learned how to do it right because there was somebody standing over you making sure you done it right, So there was that whole aspect to it which was nice and easy to deal with.
The practical end of things.
Practical end of it was easy. Coming home to tell 3 children that something went well was tough. That was absolutely brutal,
How are you?
With regards to what?
Just you. How are you?
I'm the best.
Aye. I just get the sense of a scratched a wee bit more there. You say you're the best. How can you go through that experience? And we're chatting to you here. We're not challenging you. We're not interviewing you, but
you're not interrogating me.
No, it does feel like a wee bit.
I will tell you, we've learned how to deal with all that sort of stuff.
But did you see there? Whenever you get it tight, you start deflecting again. There's another example of it there. Do you start?
No, the best person at that was Catherine, because if you asked her how you were, her answer all the time was, "I'm the best. How are you?" I see when it goes back to you. It's very hard to go again at it. Do you know what I mean? If somebody asks you, and then she says back to them, what about yourself, how are you? That was her normal response to anybody asking her how she was.
Yeah.
She turned it on them, and they had to sort of say how they were. You keep it right to yourself. You know, that's hard to... So she didn't want to go into the details of how she was or how things really were. I knew how she was. You know, people close to her knew how she was.
Yeah.
You know.
But how are you now?
I'm the best. I'm very lucky in that I have a lot of good friends. In school, at home. You know, I'm very lucky I was involved with Bellaghy. You know, great.
It's 4 times now, we're chatting here, and we've got to maybe half an hour, that you've mentioned how lucky you are.
Yeah.
Which is lovely. I mean, we get the background of this here, which is the opposite of lucky. But I think it's lovely that you are pulling at that. I just you know, you said something there that everybody does it in their own way, you know, grieves in their own way. I think that's really important because, like, God forbid if something tragic happened to me, I just couldn't see me. I just don't think I would like people kind of trying to help you and get you to coax you out of maybe talking stuff, and because there's contradicts there what I'm doing here right now. It feels in a way.
All the time you make people talk. You try to get people to
Well, like I wouldn't want to make people talk if they didn't want to talk. I think there's a big difference there is what I would say. What I would say is you're one of the best talkers I've ever come across, but whenever, you know, whenever it gets a bit tight, I notice that you deflect very quickly. That is what have you picked that up?
Yeah, definitely.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
No.
Because I think I would be like that too. I think
that's...
I think it's a natural thing. But I'm just still curious, Danny, like, how are you doing? Because it's nearly 15 years. The kids are well up now. You know, Amy is what, coming 30?
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
Connor, his birthday today. What age is Connor?
27 today.
27 today. And Dara
is 22, 23. Yep.
Yeah, so Dara was in primary school when his mommy died.
Dara was only 8.
Yeah. So I just wonder, how are you? Do you actually, with the Bellaghy piece going on, with you being principal, you were out at the Loop for a long time,
yep.
And you're now in Newbridge. Life is busy. Your mum had dementia, trying to help there. Your daddy's not well at the minute. You're in and out of Bellaghy. You're playing basketball on the Monday night, very famous crew. No?
Not yet. I haven't got to it
You
yet.
haven't got back at it.
Don't worry, I'll go and give you a wee game some night.
I am and he actually lands down to referee it if he can't actually play. Apparently, I haven't been able to see that just yet.
That suited me, Yoshini.
I'd like to see those rules now.
Some young cub tried to slam dunk there last week and broke the
ring.
Broke the ring. So I had to bring in a
four men at the weekend.
Is basketball still non-contact? Yeah,
not in Bellaghy.
I didn't think so.
Brian scullion underneath the boards. But anyway, I just wonder. It seems like you've always had an awful lot going on since Catherine died. And look, this might be, I don't mean to come across wrong here, but I think the obvious question is, have you dealt with it? Have you managed that loss?
I think, as I said to you, Thomas, it's very difficult to say, I'm so lucky because I come from Bellaghy. That has helped me to deal with it. You know, I had lots of good friends who've been great and still have. You know, they're still there. If you need them, you know, you'll get them. Mm-hmm. You know? Within school, I'm very lucky. I'm down here in Annahorish. It's only 3 miles from home. It's a great school. Pupils, staff, everybody's very supportive in everything that you go to do or anything you go to try. As you see by ringing me at 6 o'clock last night, and you have a teacher who's left her classroom today so that we can do this. You know, so, you know, there's no amount of, if you ask for help, you'll get it. There is help out there if you want it. I like to keep myself to myself and get on with my own things. And sometimes that's the way some people deal with it.
Yes.
Some people maybe need to go and chat and talk to people and talk to counsellors. There's nothing wrong with that either. Here, yeah. If you're in that way, you need to go to it. And I wouldn't have been against that at all either. I was very lucky. I would say maybe 4 or 5 months after Catherine died, I went to the doctor one day. I was feeling great. Went to Ben, and a real good chat with Ben Glancy about the whole thing. And I think that was my. The way once had to go to counselling. That was my counselling.
Yes.
Ben told it straight, and that helped. You know, that got me sorted into right. If that's the way it's going to be, here's what I'm going to do. You know, and that's the way I've dealt with it. You know, I also have been great support from Catherine's family and my own family, you know, and dealing with it as well. And that's what it's all about. You know, How are you is very hard to answer because, well, I'm getting older. I'm very close to the retiring stage is coming very shortly. That'll be a different challenge again. Plenty of changes in the whole thing, aye. But sure, that's the way it is.
What about Cross McGlen?
Aye. Great wee place. I've had a few. I was down one night. Remember, you
That's
said
right, yeah.
the first for one of your first
That's right.
All Ireland. They invited all the captains of the teams that they played against. So I was down for that wee.
It's 20-year thing, wasn't it?
I was 20 years.
Yeah.
So it was a great night's crack, and
Yeah.
talking to all their boys down. And Shorty trainer was there. Never.
Shorty,
met,
yeah.
I met Shorty, and Shorty says to me, "What are we doing here?"
Yeah. do you know what they were doing? They were rubbing your nose.
I know that.
You noticed that?
I know that.
They're
It's
desperate,
Great
you know.
crack. And then trying
It
to.
actually was a good night's crack. That.
It was deadly, so I know we had some great games with them, I played against them from, you wouldn't have been remembered, 86.
I
Yeah.
was the mascot
Were you?
sitting on top of the dugout
In 86.
in '86. Yeah.
And it was a very eventful game and lots of challenges and great crack and good fun.
Eventful and
you-
challenges.
See, you've
No.
gone straight into principal talk there. Did you notice that?
Oh,
It was like a
Event-
lovely piece of language.
Eventful and
Yeah, give 'em
challenges. It was not. It was
So,
pure.
for people that don't know, just give us an upsum of
In
that
Cross
match,
McGlen.
Oisín. Just give us an upsum of that, please.
The row started in the middle of the field. I think most people blame Ollie Short. Would that
Yeah,
be
that's-
that be
that
fair?
would That would have been correct.
He started it, and then you boys sort of finished it.
Well, now, Ollie Short would have a different opinion on that because this came up fairly recently in a podcast we did with Seamus Bird.
So it did, yeah.
And I have to say, he made a point that there was a lot more going on.
Here, look,
As with
here.
every single row.
Hey, see, when it was over, we shook hands and we got on with it. That was it. It was.
There's some great photographs from that game. Not just the blood and people's faces being rearranged and stuff, but actually the helicopter,
The
coming
helicopter,
in and how low the helicopter was in
during the
relation to the players, and it was just in and out all the time. Obviously, they knew it was a big game because when Cross played Bellaghy, it wasn't just Cross people and Bellaghy people to turn up to watch it.
Yeah.
It was a lot of people wanted to see that game for various reasons. There was an inevitability probably about what was going to happen, but I would agree with that. Like, you know what I mean? I probably haven't met that many lads from Bellaghy since we played them, but any time we do, like, it's always fond memories. You know what I mean? Of
We
of
also
those
played them
times.
in '96 and went to a replay in '96 with them, and they beat us. And then when they played them again in '98, and they beat us again.
Yeah.
Not that great. It was like a South Armagh select, like was playing against you. A lot of good. They had a lot of players, like.
Had a lot of players. No,
But there's some team.
no,
you know.
no, hang on a minute now. If you're going to say something on live, Danny, you have to. You can't go. Look, you're doing this principle that you're changing the
I'm
subject.
only saying
again.
there was
You're
players-
deflecting again. Did you notice that?
There was players who were who had been at other clubs and
Oh,
moved
right.
to them. Yes,
Is that right, Oisín?
and they were
Yeah, well, it was
they were very useful.
Let's face it, it was a very attractive proposition.
Yes, going across McLean was. I can understand why they did it.
Yeah.
That's
I'm glad to see you've let that one go, Danny. Anyway.
yes, I had to. But no, we had some great games with them, and it was all good crack and good banter
Yeah.
at the end of it all, and that's what that was what it was all about. We were,
Do you know what it was? It genuinely was, because I think, even though it was, a lot of those games ended up with different levels of skirmishes and different things in them, but after the game, like, there was never a word, was
no,
there?
no.
It was just, you shake hands, go on. It was, I know we're probably not allowed to say this, but it was quite manly stuff, I suppose, at that time, and that, whatever went on the pitch went on, and then,
Man.
Jim McConville got an awful touch one of the games in Clonus.
was that you?
Was that you? I actually.
Here,
No, he did. Now I remember going and seeing the old stuff, and like I thought Jim was at the rosary beads out, and this was after. Was that you? And all the size of him too. But
there, Thomas. That was well lined up there. Now you have to say you done that.
well, do you know what? I did not, because I always remember. I actually think Jim McConville is such an undervalued footballer probably because his team didn't win the All Ireland.
Yeah.
But actually, when you watched him, the abuse he took and him coming out of a ruck, and having the ball knocking over the bar. Just
But he see the difference between him and Oisin had the sense when those things started to
Step aside.
to stay well out of the
right,
road,
okay.
and Jim came in to get involved. And
it's all Jim's fault.
shouldn't have.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sure he'd tell you himself he shouldn't have got involved. And then,
I said no. I didn't. You think I was doing my research there? I'm not that clever to do that level of research. But just that's right, because I remember it was at the game of Clonus, and you were going up the Jerry Arthur stand side and hit a ball to Jim up in the corner, and just like it was a blue train coming from behind him. Like,
Jim was on the values. I never on the value because he always got
some player.
He always got the free kicks, and then I was able to.
He let you point them
over.
Yeah.
That was very useful to have somebody to.
You love your brother.
do that
I feel like you do love him, don't you?
But no, it was
Maybe not.
It was great times.
That phrase, moving on with your life, I always find it's nearly, you could offend someone by actually asking that phrase. Getting on with your life, fatherhood, future, meeting people, whatever, Danny.
You don't know what's going to happen, Thomas. I always say, just get out there and see what's going on and enjoy whatever you can. I don't drink. I don't smoke, don't drink, so I'm not in pubs or I'm not doing those sort of things. Getting out and going for a dander is a great way of looking after yourself.
You never took a drink, Danny?
Never, no, never. I used to. You'll take it the wrong road, but I boxed for about 5 or 6 years before.
I know you did.
I think we all know that, Danny.
No, you didn't know.
Oh, you mean this is
you didn't know
officially?
because I couldn't catch you.
Yeah.
Is this Mark as a Queensbury?
No, this was the cracked stuff, and I really enjoyed it. And I did it up to I was 14 or 15, and then I had to make a choice between boxing and football. So at school, you were encouraged then to play football. Again, I'm very lucky at school. I've come through Machara where we won McCrory's, and I was lucky I was playing in good teams. It's always great to play in a good team and be part of it. St Mary's I played in a good team. Bellaghy I played in a good team. Here, Derry I played in a good team. So I was very lucky that there was lots of teams there that I was involved in that had exceptionally good footballers in them, and that helps the whole thing as well.
You play a bit of golf.
Oh, badly.
Yeah, you meet up with a couple of boys once a year or something.
Yeah, once or twice a year we meet up down in Dungannon. This year we met up. There's a few of us.
Seamus
Downey.
Anybody else?
Benny Tierney would be there.
Benny Tierney there.
So we listened.
Quiet enough day.
No, we listened to him for 18 holes and he shows us how to do the thing right because he's deadly. He's a good golfer.
Is he?
Don't put that on if you have to.
Yeah.
If you don't have to.
I suppose he's a principal too. Handy enough old job. Probably get out a wee bit early.
This is during our summer holidays, which we badly need.
Which month?
It's definitely in July. That's the baller. Benny makes it look easy. Everything's straight down the middle.
You absolutely have to edit this out.
Oh, you do?
We can't be giving Tierney that much.
No, not a chance. He would love it. He would love it.
The man that thought a bicep curl was a crisp. You can't be saying good things about a man like that.
Oh no, he's some crack. He has some crack. Yeah, you want to hear some of the stories?
Oh look, here we did it. We did an event not behind closed doors. That feels it sounds a bit cultish.
Yeah.
It was
just wasn't recorded.
It wasn't recorded deliberately. It was like it was an event anyway, but no recording devices.
Yes.
It was like a men's shed thing. It was it wasn't anything bad. But my God, Tierney, by just
when I spoke
on a different planet.
But he's deep as well. You know what I mean?
Think so?
There's another side. Oh, there's another side definitely.
Debatable.
He's great out crack. Just
very debatable.
But here he is totally lipped. I would say anything to anybody. That's what I love about it.
He's some crack.
We
did a thing with St. Pat's Armagh, and honest to God, the man was just.
Well, I say we played.
It's nearly just go.
Here,
put a microphone and go.
Me and Seamus are in the buggy together, and he's walking. So you can imagine. And then an odd time we may let him in and push his trolley, to give him a wee bit of a rest. But Seamus has bad hips and bad ankles, so we have the excuse of using the trolley, and then Benny walks along with and scowls at us and taunts us about the fact that we can't walk around it.
Yeah.
He's great crack. It's just
brilliant.
Yep. Like, time he takes Ollie with him, and Ollie Reel.
Aye.
And then he tells lots of stories and Ollie. It's deadly.
Brilliant. We shall wrap it there.
100%.
Danny, it's been great chatting with you. I know that a lot of people will take an awful lot from that, and I suppose what we do have to do is always point to the BBC Action Line, bbc.co.uk/action line, where there's a list of resources that are really, really useful, because some of the stuff we have been talking about can be triggering for people, and it can bring back people to their own experiences of loss.
You asked the start and I didn't answer it right, but
Yeah.
the reason I am here is because I'm hoping that if somebody does listen to it, it does help them. Hope that someday along the line somewhere, who's going through that sort of crack, with transplants, but especially, I always think of parents with children. Oh my God, it's brutal.
Yeah.
I have a parent here who's gone over to Ormond Street with 2 children for an operation now on the 7th of February. Like, that's brutal. Do you know what I mean? That's a terrible experience for those. It's the only place they can go to get this operation. So,
Yeah.
And it has to be right. So hopefully it helps those sort of people. And you can go to, going over there was super because they looked after you so well,
Yeah.
Some great crack in it, Thomas. And that fella from Clare, I knew his full life story by the time we left the place, and some great stories that you tell about the place,
Yeah.
So that's a good way. That's a good thing about it. You get, if somebody gets something out of it that helps them. Everybody's story. Everybody's got a story. Do you know what I mean?
I think you always have a habit of pouring cold water on yourself. I think the fact that you're sitting here I'm always conscious not to be patronising, and I try not to be, because when you say something nice about a human being in front of them, we all get a wee bit awkward.
Yeah.
But a person told me recently, sent me a voice note and said, you're never too good at what you do not to hear it from somebody.
Yeah.
And at maybe some stage later in the season, I'll say who actually said that to me. He only said it to me about 2 weeks ago in a voice note. And I think how well you're liked, admired, respected in footballing terms, in Bellaghy, in Derry, in this school, in education, in your family, and beyond, is a lovely thing. And that is down to you and your character and who you are as a person, the way you've maybe been brought up, all them experiences, luck, as you keep saying. And I think just take the compliment in it. Take the compliment in it for once. Just take the compliment.
But I do and understand what you're saying, but come here, you can be lucky where you land. You could go to a school and things be difficult. I went to the Loop. Couldn't have been any better.
I thought you were going to say they went to the Loop.
No, but here, I went to the Loop as a principal. I started there as a teacher, and then I was principal for 7 years. And during the 7 years, the Loop had that good run. These young boys that I've been teaching come through. Johnny McBride and Paul McFlynn, them boys were there. And then these other boys come through. Paul Young, Gavin Mallon, all these boys come through. And the next thing, Loop won an Ulster club. Out of nowhere, they won a Derry championship and then an Ulster club. And then they won another championship then after that again. So there's a pile of young boys coming through and they done well. Moved here and all these. This place here is there's another stack of young boys coming behind what they have at the minute. The Sean Youngs and them. You wouldn't know them as well, Oisin, but through club football you'd have seen a wee bit of them. Yeah. Them boys are deadly. Speed, pace, and this place is full of really good footballers.
So are you saying wherever you go?
Yeah.
No,
that sounds like what he's saying.
No, what I'm saying is,
I was major not patronising. Now he's gone.
What I'm saying is, here I keep them interested in it. In school here, I torture them, and I always tell the story in the Lip about what do you call it? Brian Doyle. There's a fella, Brian Doyle, played for their senior.
Yeah, I know Brian.
And, you know all them.
Yeah, I know Brian, surely.
Gavin Mallon, all them. We're all in one class anyway, but there was 34 in the class, and there was 22 boys or 23 boys, mad as hatters, but mad about football. And I tortured them about Bellaghy. We were going well at the time, so we were winning in championships and all that sort of crack anyway. And this Monday morning I come in, I can tell you this Monday morning I come in with the Irish News, and I was in the mobile at the front, and nobody ever seen my time he come in, and that was great. So I come in, threw down the Irish News, and I says, boys, you'll never guess what happened this morning. And they're up round the table, they're all up round the table straight away to hear what the crack is. So they're all up round the table, and I says, I went into the shop in Bellaghy, and you'll never guess what happened. I said, I put out a championship medal, another championship medal in the change. I says, there's not many of them around Bellaghy. But you want to see their faces. And, I think, and they all sat down there, and then Brian Doyle won a championship, and he told me the story back to me.
Right.
Do you remember the day you said to us?
Great.
So we had great crack. We used to go in after dinner time. I was outside supervising, and with a penalty, girls all went into the room, got your bricks out, and the boys had a penalty competition every day before we went in. It was great crack and all too as well.
Yeah.
It's the same here. They're all football. We were lucky. We had this new extension built on, but we could hold on to our football pitch.
Oh, I've seen that.
You want to see that during the summer. Them boys take the lumps out there. So
You thought you were going to lose the pitch at one stage?
at one stage, because of the build, we thought where everything was going.
Did you just have to fight for that? Keep it?
No, I was very lucky in that we were able to show the plans. When we did our own plans, and we were able to show that we didn't need to go onto the pitch.
Okay.
They would have pushed us to use the pitch.
Right.
But when we showed our own plans to show that we could get what we wanted here, they were happy enough to follow it.
Brilliant.
So it worked out well enough.
And were you cognizant of the fact that it's protecting the pitch?
Here,
Yeah.
there's no chance we're losing the pitch.
I know. Look, it was a rhetorical
You
question.
can't-
I
you
knew the
can't-
answer,
you
but
you can't let something like that.
do you accept that that's odd if you go to another school in another area? I'm talking about even schools that.
I think you still get it if there's an interest. There's nobody like I know Ben McTierney. If he had a pitch, he wouldn't let it go to be used for buildings.
That's what I mean. I mean places with the GA culture of playing.
Definitely. I know. That's the way
protecting the pitch.
you're trying to. But it's not just. It's also it's so important. This area is mad about football.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? All the Waynes are mad about football, mad about Derry, mad about what's going on with Newbridge, all that sort of stuff,
Very strong.
So you have to be doing it, same as Marfeld's doing. You're not that far away again.
Aye, well, listen, don't you be all played about Marfell because there's a microphone in front of you now?
Oh, that's not. Are we off?
No, we're still going.
Are you? I thought
Sorry, did we?
I thought you said you were stopped there.
No, I was wondering because you were bent down lifting the water flat out there. You looked a bit more mobile. The arms weren't folded, actually. I noticed that for the side last week.
They relaxed a wee bit then.
Yeah. Can I ask you just the very last, how's the kids? Because that's the big challenge there, isn't it? Around
Kids are great.
Yeah.
They're they grow up and they get on with it and they find where they're going to go to. Amy loves Mahara. Teaching in Mahara is perfect for her because of the camogie, the girls' football, obviously the McCrory. She loves all that stuff and goes to all the matches and roars and shouts and complains and
but she's
all those sort of things.
She's a brilliant girl.
Loves all that stuff. Connors has played away with Bellaghy up to this year, and don't know if he's going to continue to play or not. He's doing a bit of gym stuff as well. He's looking out, and Dara's the same. The two of them are still playing away too as well. So it's up to the children to decide to do what they want to do. I wouldn't be just because I've played football. They don't have to play football. They can do what they want to do.
Yeah.
I think that's very important that they find their own pathway. And what suits them.
What's the best lesson you've learned through losing Catherine, Danny? It feels like a very specific question when there's probably lots of things, and lesson even maybe feels like it's a wrong word. But is there something there that you've learned that actually through that experience you've been able to benefit either yourself or others? Or is there something there?
There's no doubt about it. I would say. And you're going to say he says lucky again here, but I was very lucky to meet Catherine. I was very lucky to have 17, 18 years with her. I value the time that we had together. I'm a better person for having met her. And I think that's very important.
Even though that time was short as you planned.
Well, the time wasn't what we wanted.
But,
do you know what I mean?
But you still came on to the positive.
But I still say that it was better to have met her than not.
Yeah, of course.
What has come out of it with 3 great children, that's the positive. I'm always looking for the positive as well. But I'm better for the experience of meeting her and being with her than the way anything else could have worked out. And I've learned a lot from that. Do you know what I mean? I've learned a lot about life through the experiences that we have and the value. I would always say to people, make sure you look after yourself and get out there and enjoy yourself. Do the best you can when you can. And I think that's very, very important that you do that. And avail of the opportunities that come your way to give you the life experiences that are good for you.
Yeah.
And
is that it? Like you're you keep going with lucky, mention that, and positivity. Like,
Yeah.
through here. Like, I want to be direct with you here. A lot of people say that, the positivity piece. But I actually find there's nothing as condescending as false positivity. People say, oh, you keep positive, but actually, do they actually mean it? And that's what I'm sort of pushing back on you.
But you've got through it, Thomas, how difficult it's been as well.
Yeah.
I hope you've got through what I've been saying to you. Like, this has not been easy. There's no part of this easy. Going home to tell three Waynes that, going home to tell a mother going home to tell three Waynes that she's going to die is not easy. Sitting down there and explaining to three children that this hasn't worked was brutal. The worst experience you could ever have in your life is to sit down and do that with your children, and we've been through that. I've been through that, and we've experienced it, and we've come out the other side of it, and I think that, not a great experience, no one to want to do or one want anybody else to suffer with, but the experience is something that, forms your character, it makes you the way you are, life has been enjoyed. That's what I'm trying to say to you. Get out there and get on with it. Catherine just said, get on with it. Do you know what I mean? That was her line all the time. Look here, that's tough, get on with it. That was the way her attitude to all this. Like, you want to see, she had medication, she had a line under her chest, she had everything going on, Thomas, that was difficult to deal with, and she still would have said, like, let's get up and get on with it. When we go shopping, aye, come on ahead, we'll go, Shirley. I'm not worried one bit about it. I'll go as long as I can. If only can do 2 hours, or we'll come home after 2 hours. We'll go on holidays. Aye, of course we will, dragging oxygen tanks and medication and all that through airports and all that sort of crack. We still did all the things that you'd normally do, and trying to keep things as normal as possible for the children and everybody else is the key to trying to get through it yourself. Adapting or feeling sorry. Catherine never felt sorry for herself. That was one thing that was come through. She always said, look, this is one of the challenges that you get. I hate using the line, but Catherine lived with her granny, when she was growing up, and the granny would always said, God only sends you crosses that you can carry. And I would disagree a wee bit with that,
Yeah.
Some of them's not easy to carry,
Yeah.
But you have to get on with it, and that was the way that she was, all during illness. And this has been sent, so let's get on with it, And I'm talking about from the day she was told that this is a terminal illness unless you get a transplant. She was always saying, right, let's get on with it. Whatever comes here, we get on with it, and we look after the Waynes, and we look after ourselves, and that's it. So what I've learned out of it, I've learned the importance of life, It's a great lesson there.
Some man.
Good way to finish it. It's thanks for sharing all of that, Danny, and I suppose the Danny Quinn that I would have known on the field is completely different. I've known that for some time. It's completely different to the one off it, and just keep doing what you're doing. Because
but here, even on the pitch, I would have been looking after everybody. That was my job.
Yeah.
We went to the. Is this still on?
Yeah, no, it's still.
Sort of careful, like.
I know you're a very intelligent man, school principal, but I feel like I've undersold what a podcast actually is.
I thought you turned it off at one stage, so and I was chatting about different, but I learned a lot from others, through Big Adrian at Mahara, through Jim McConville, Peter Finn at St Mary's, through those boys that took me at club level, the Jim Linslaw, when I started. I learned from all them boys, and everything I learned from them boys I used. And I used that to help me when I was coaching. I was coaching and playing, but you were sort of looking after the show. I always thought that we had a wee job to look after the show, 2 or 3 of us, and we did. So if somebody got in the bother, we looked after them or tried to help them. On the pitch or off the pitch, we sort of looked after each other, Well,
we'll wrap it up there, and it's a nice note on which to finish on as well, because Danny, talking about looking after people, he took that wee under-8s team in Bellaghy the whole way through. Those lads are now what age?
26, 27.
And I was reliably informed when he took them and they were looking at games, they were all in his living room as Waynes looking at the games. Now that image, like, just think about that image for a minute. The esteem in which they hold him in. You're not a coach to them. Do you accept that?
Well, obviously when you're with them from their 6 years of age right through, and here some of them weren't handy. Here
Aye.
they were. I'm sure you've been Oisin with your own children out at sessions and taking them, and 6 and 8 year olds were some crack at that stage. And here these boys are exact same at 16. They were still as bad. Mad as that. Never.
I said a bit wild. He says they weren't that handy. It's kind of the same thing.
Yeah, weren't that handy is a good way of putting it. But here, all great cubs, all great fellas, all would do anything for you.
Yeah.
All great cubs now, and we've been lucky. Some of them have come through a lot of them come through to play senior football for Bellaghy. Some of them are quit playing. Some of them are still playing thirds or reserves or whatever. So it's great to see them all out there and doing their wee bit. That's what it's all about. Bringing wins through. You take them out. I went out to watch our under sevens playing against the Loop there one night. That was class. Gavin Diamond's young boy playing, and he's kicking with both feet, and going out to watch what's coming next, and hoping that maybe there's where our next championships maybe coming out of them boys coming through. So you have to live in hope is what you're after. It's trying to make sure there's something coming there.
Brilliant. We'll wrap it up there. We could go. We will stop it now, Danny.
Thank you.
We will press stop.
I thought you'd got to an hour and you went, just that's enough. I was watching the clock and I was like, that's an hour now. And then I sort of eased off a wee bit and talked about other things.
No, you just kept going. You were talking about club football, everything else in between. Look, great. Here.
Just don't you let me say Marfell's going to win champions. You don't want that.
No, you didn't say that. You didn't say that. I'm sure you would have picked up on that one. Danny, brilliant lad. Thank you very much. Thanks for
not a bar.
I hope you.
I hope it's all right.
It's average enough.
It's good. That's all right. No, I just hope it's all right.
It's above C plus.
You'll be here. It's not so bad. You've got him to fix it.
We've got Tristan to fix it. Yeah, Tristan is. Tristan is here, and he's been listening to all. Tristan, what did you think?
Hey,
He never said
that's the first time his voice is featured in the podcast.
He's getting totally lost around.
Oh, put that boy back.
Hey, that's what a bit of soup does.
Thank you for the lunch. Thank you for the soup. It has been great to see everybody in Anna Horish here. Go well, Danny.
Thank you.
Keep in touch.
Okay.
Many more podcasts on BBC Sounds. Many more GA stories as ever on the BBC Sport website. We're in the thick of it. And I actually feel, oh my God, I haven't even gone there, but we're going to have to go. Derry play Tyrone this weekend. Let's just briefly thoughts.
Here, Thomas, great match. It has to be. Look, it's early in the league. Derry didn't get the start they wanted last week. Tyrone didn't get the finish they wanted last week. So it's turned the match into very, very important for both of them. Both of them would have aspirations of getting out of Division 2 into Division 1. And I think we could have a clinker of a match on Saturday evening up in Celtic Park. Mm-hmm. It means so much to the two of them.
Is it still a thing for you?
Oh, sure, there'll always be a thing. You know what I mean? You always love playing against Tyrone. I was very lucky because we played against Tyrone. We always beat them, at that stage. But it wasn't, after...
He gives it one hand and he takes it.
I love that. And that's the way it was. It was just lucky at that time we were in top of them.
Yeah.
And then Peter come along and other boys come along and they started to get on top and they did very well too. Derry love playing Tyrone too as well. And I think that's in Celtic Park is massively important to us, Tyrone are a good team, and they have a lot of players involved. They had a lot of players involved in Sigerson and all that too as well. So once they all come back, it'll be interesting to see what Bellaghy puts out. Yeah. Obviously, very friendly with Bellaghy as well. So.
Yeah, good man. You were at St Mary's with him.
Oh, yep, very friendly with him. Lived in the house with him for a wee while too.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, great fella.
I feel like that's another documentary as well.
No, definitely not.
I feel like we're just getting the stuff here now as we finish.
Skimming is plenty.
Skimming is plenty. Great stuff. That game is live this weekend on the BBC. So Tyrone against Derry live from Celtic Park in Derry. Live league football on BBC iPlayer. And then again on Sunday we have hurling, our first hurling league game of the year. We have the 2024 All-Ireland champions Clare, Tony Kelly and co, Shane O'Donnell and the lads coming to County Antrim to take on Antrim, and that is on Sunday on BBC iPlayer. So a double whammy of games this weekend. All the stories and the build-up on the BBC Sport website, but from the great Jim McConville, the great Danny Quinn, and myself. Thanks for listening.